Would Arsenal be the worst team to ever win the Premier League?
When you sell your soul, you better deliver. Because if they don't win it, scary conversation.
Oh, we will be there.
Spooky
I will be there if they don't do it.
Are Tottenham too good to go down?
The Dr. Tottenham thing, it started off as a joke.
It's real.
It's real.
Will Šeško outshine João Pedro in the long run? Could have foreseen that one. And can Carrick and Rosenior replicate what Arteta has done at Arsenal?
I know that at my club, if you finished 8th and then 8th and then 5th, you ain't going to be in a job.
On this episode of The Pitch, Manchester United fan Flex and Chelsea fan Kweku Afari go head to head. Arsenal would be the worst team to ever win the Premier League. 3, 2, 1. Kweku, you got to kick us off.
Okay, so Arsenal fans are going to come in the comments regardless. We know how active they are. It's just a style of football. It's a style of play, like you said. And it's also a projection of the points. Don't get it twisted. I think this Arsenal defence, they had the opportunity to become legendary in terms of the goals conceded. Maybe they conceded a bit too many goals now. But going forward, it's historically bad. And when you think about teams that won the Premier League that haven't necessarily been upper echelon, you think maybe Leicester in 2016, but you look at Vardy and Mahrez and that front line, that's way better than what Arsenal got right now in terms of output. And they are conceding goals now. They're not setting any records. And so when I look at this Arsenal team, yes, get it how you can get it. Win the Premier League, and I would do the same thing if I was Chelsea manager and we had to go and win our first title for over 2 decades. But the style of football, the style of play, the projection of points as well, I think this Arsenal team will go down as one of the historically lesser teams to win the Premier League.
Do you know what it is? It's like a gaslighting statement. It is, because on one hand, you've got Arsenal fans who will absolutely not care how they get their first title in 21, 22 years, etc., etc. And it's all about just being the best of the season of which you're in. I think the way Arsenal are has coincided with this shift in the style of the Premier League. And they happen to be the best at this style. If they were going up against a mammoth Manchester City like Liverpool were doing in the prime years under Klopp with Pep, swashbuckling football, high scoring, attractive football, playing on the front foot, going after teams, dominating teams, suffocating teams, and all attack, then this Arsenal team wouldn't stand a chance against those teams. That you could say the same for Arne Slot last year. Yep. What happened to Manchester City last year? They went on a generational losing streak that we'd never seen before. What happened to Arsenal? They didn't invest in the squad properly around January times, and they fell off. And Liverpool they weren't great, were they? And I think we need to separate the statement of going, do Arsenal fans, should we care that Arsenal won't be a championship winning team that we remember for many, many years? Or was the league just not that great?
Are we confusing entertainment for quality here a little bit, though? Because everyone talks about the goals and the way that Arsenal are scoring the goals. But actually, if you think about the defence and the goalkeeper, there's a case to be made that all of them could be in the Premier League team of the season so far.
Yes.
Yeah, defensively, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So they can't be the worst in that case.
Well, but then you look at the top scorers in the league, right? And on projection, I think only Haaland and Igor Thiago will get to 20 plus goals. And so you can say that the attacks in the Premier League aren't as potent as they were previously. Again, it's all relative. I think back to the Man United team that won the treble in '99. They finished on 79 points. It took a miraculous kind of turnaround in the FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal to win that game, and you won the league on the final day of the season.
There's a misconception that everything looks pretty all the time.
100%. But that's because it's one of the greatest teams in English football history. Champions League final, very fortunate, and everything fell in place. Arsenal could still win the quadruple this season, and everything
They can't do that.
They can.
They can.
You see, and this is
that's where
right, but because there's because I'll give the credit where it's due, but they can't win the quadruple.
Okay, so why did you hold up? You should have held up the green flag.
No, not because they're not the worst Premier League team winning ever. I'm just saying that means to win the quadruple, you're going to have to be one of the greatest.
Okay, cool.
No one's ever done that.
Yeah, no one's ever done that.
They ain't doing that, I'll tell you that.
I'm not saying that they will, but if you look at the Premier League, I wouldn't have them as favourites, but they're still top of the league right now.
100%.
The Champions League, we saw how that draw went. My goodness.
They should be walking to at least the semi-finals.
At least the finals. Barcelona are not that good.
Yeah.
And then you look at they're in the final of the Carabao Cup. There's a 50-50 chance.
They can
collect.
collect.
Cup, they've got Mansfield.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah. The footballing gods are conspiring to let Arsenal have the easiest route.
After years of not conspiring.
Yeah, after years of them messing up on their own.
Do you know which team has got the lowest points in Premier League history for a title-winning campaign? Yeah,
How many times?
United with 75 points.
Yeah.
So if Arsenal get 11 points in the last 9 games, they'll match it.
But it's relevant to the league. I can't remember who comes second in the said year that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But whatever the bar is to win the league, Liverpool got 98. Would they get 98 points?
Didn't win.
Didn't win.
Yeah.
So then, are they terrible? No, it was just that the threshold was so high during that season.
Yeah.
It's a different question if you're asking, can this Arsenal team dominate the Premier League like City?
Yeah.
Can this Arsenal team keep competing for the title when City get their act together, when Liverpool get their act together, maybe Chelsea, maybe United? Those are different questions. But in terms of the relevancy of this season, I'm talking about the whole product of the Premier League, mate.
Yeah.
We're celebrating Coyote. This is what's going on in the Premier League. We're celebrating Coyote.
Is that a bad thing?
Not necessarily, because for me, what I think is poor football. We had Russell Martin come up from the Championship last year and try and play like Pep.
Yeah.
For me, that's a bad product.
Yeah.
Players who are not good enough to play a certain style.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's more effective. But then, when you see what Everton did to Man United, corner after corner, and it was like Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Something's got to be done. So we need to find a middle point. But I just think Arsenal, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Arsenal are being unfairly victimised because of the way the way the season has gone in terms of the football. They're just the best at this type of football. It's just synergy.
Okay, cool. But when you do the PFA team of the season at the end of the year,
none of their forwards are getting in.
And I don't think it's ever happened in Premier League history. The team that wins a league, they don't have a forward in the team. Like that. Come on, man.
I think we're moving the goalposts here.
What do you mean?
Know what I mean? Because it's a team, apart from that Chelsea team under Mourinho the first time, possibly the best ever defensive unit that we've actually seen in the league.
Yeah.
As I say, it could be, 4 potentially. I don't think the left back would get in the team of the season.
Yeah.
So why does it matter if their goal scorers aren't there? Because it's shown they've got such a good system. They're coached so well.
Different ways to win.
Yes, for sure. And then people can point to Arsenal pre-Wenger saying that this is Arsenal heritage. But when Dennis Bergkamp walked through the doors and Arsene Wenger walked through the doors, the culture at Arsenal changed. There's a reason why there are so many Arsenal fans everywhere, because there was a style of football that came with winning. And that Arsenal team in the late 90s and the early noughties were special to watch. Not only physically strong, but also entertained. And I do think the heritage clubs, and again, I support Chelsea, but the heritage clubs in this country are Man United, Liverpool, and Arsenal. And there's an obligation of those teams to not just win, but play a certain type of
But you know what, Kweku? There is, but not when you haven't won a title in 22 years.
I understand.
And I think what we're doing here now is we are moving the goalposts, because and I've been there, right? This Arsenal team is soft. This Arsenal team is naive. The back end of this Arsenal team plays great football, but do they get over the line?
Yes.
Now they've got a steel about them where they can't be bullied, they can't get their bellies tickled, they're rugged, they're ugly, they're resolute. All of the things that maybe sometimes Jose Mourinho's Chelsea were. Like, just a little bit of things that we don't associate this with. Like you say, Arsenal, you associate with a prettiness, a sexiness about their football. Now we're not seeing that. It's almost like we're trying to pivot where they've been at the top of the table. We need to see if they get over the line. But if they get over the line in this fashion, that monkey's off their back in terms of they can't do it, they bottle it, they've got no mentality monsters, they can't do this, they can't do that. If they get over the line playing like this, I think it just shows that they went and fixed their issues and we just didn't like the style.
Well, I take that point. But when you sell your soul, you better deliver. Because if they don't win it, you
100%.
And so that's the problem.
That's a good
it's
point.
like, if you don't win
Correct.
it, Arsenal fans have to chin this style of football, which again, I give them credit for doing, right? They're going to the Emirates and we can't deny the product is not amazing.
No.
It's not even comparable to the Arsenal 22-23
No.
side that had worse players. That's why they're playing better football. So I get it. You got to get it how you get it. But if you don't win it, scary conversations.
Oh, we will be there.
Spooky
I will be there if they don't do it. But right now, at the time of recording, mate, they're top of the league. They've eaten into their cushion. It's difficult, but they're still pulling out results by the skin of their teeth, by hook or by crook.
The next one, Tottenham are too good to go down. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let's start with you on this one, Flex.
Absolutely not. This is a follow-on. What we're not realising with Spurs, right? This is a continuation. Like a flash in the pan relegation of everything just went wrong that one. They finished 17th last year.
Yeah.
Do you get that? They got 22 losses last year, I believe, off the top of my head. So this is a follow-on. The home record, absolutely shocking. And what it proves is that it's not just Ange, it's not just Thomas Frank. Igor Tudor has gone in there now, at the time of recording, 2 losses on the bounce. This is a deep-rooted systemic thing. And listen, I will never forgive my team for what we allowed Spurs to do. For all of football, really, to be honest with you. Man United, I still have, although I'm back in love with them now, I will never forgive them for letting me go to the San Mamés Stadium in Bilbao and witnessing that and letting them actually win a European trophy. However, this is what they are. And are they too good to go down? Absolutely not. The problem that they've actually got now is that not just that they've got a whole 11 out and the manager's changed and stuff, it's when you look at the players that will be available, how many of them got the heart for a relegation battle?
No.
How many of them got the heart to check the ego to actually be cut out for this? So they're definitely not too good to go down. And let's just look at the results. They ain't won in 10 games at the time of recording. So that is a relegation form team. No one is too good to go down.
Kweku, they're the only team in the league not to win in 2026.
Yeah, it's a disaster. And like you said, it's a follow-on. It's a follow-on. This is why I wanted Spurs to win the Europa League final. And again, it sounds like sacrilege as a Chelsea fan, but they pose no threat. Man United, the Champions League football's threat. I knew what I saw with Spurs, and they are moribund. They are a disaster. They are any adjective you can find in the dictionary for bad is Spurs. And the Dr. Tottenham thing, it started off as a joke.
It's real.
It's real. You're in bad form. You go see Spurs. Arsenal saw it, right? Arsenal off the back of that dodgy draw against Wolves. They saw Spurs 4-1, 8-2 on aggregate this season. They are a really, really bad football team. And no, they're not too good to go down because you look at the personnel, especially with injuries, you look at their bench. That bench is shocking.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is a Spurs team that are in serious, serious danger. And nobody's too good to go down. I've seen better teams than this go down. It's just in terms of personnel.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that Tudor said yesterday was, we are lacking the quality to score a goal, we are lacking in the middle to run, and we are lacking at the back to suffer and not concede a goal.
Everything then.
So it's bad at running, defending and attacking.
This guy, after one game, right, after Arsenal, started saying, what's this club's objective? What are these players going to do? What am I going to do? He's in the absolute trenches. Don't know what for. You know what I mean? You couldn't write it. And the only thing that could save Spurs this year is the others just aren't good enough to capitalise. You know, when you look at a good old relegation scrap, the reason why those teams are down there is because wins are scarce across all of them. All it takes is for one of them to win back-to-back games or a draw and a result and a win, and all of a sudden there's a big bit of daylight because they just continue to lose. West Ham are continuing to lose, even though there's a little bit of fight there, but the 5-point swing, I just don't know if they got it in them. In
Spurs' defence, which I, as an Arsenal fan, do not like to do, Richarlison, Solanke, Van de Ven, Romero, Xavi Simons, they are some quality players there.
Yeah. Have they got the stomach for it? The last time I saw Romero scrapping with his manager, like Van de Ven's not committing his long-term future to the football club. Xavi Simons, there's been flashes, but he's not been absolutely brilliant. Richarlison, I'm sorry, I'm giving up on him. Like, he's not good enough. And so, yeah, they haven't got the tools to guarantee them getting out this situation. And when I look at West Ham, yeah, it's a fairly sizable gap right now. But West Ham can look at the United game, should have won that game. Callum Wilson had a chance late on, should have won that. Against Chelsea, 2-0 up at Stamford Bridge, they should have got something out that game. And I think they're playing with confidence now. And when I look at their manager, Nuno, he's the man that took Wolves from the Championship to Europe. He's the man that took Forest from the brink of relegation to Europe. The only club it didn't work at, guess what? Because they are terrible. Institutionally, they are terrible. So, yeah, there's every chance they can go down. And if you look at their corresponding fixtures between now and the end of the season, last season when they played those teams, they lost all of them.
And it doesn't matter, right? You know when you go under the lights, though, 12th man. 12th man there. Have you seen what happens when they play at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, mate? They're absolutely shocking. And actually, when you look at Spurs, right, they are actually the worst team in the league.
Yes, they are.
I know Wolves statistically, people are making fun of them. Worst team ever. Are they going to beat the points record of who was it? Derby, etc., etc. Look what they're doing now under Rob Edwards, mate. I tell you what, it's too late for them, but they're here to spoil parties and say you're coming with us. Burnley, look at the fight. They came down 2 against Palace, got back into the game. Really unlucky the other day against Brentford. Really unlucky.
Against us.
Against you, came back into it. You know what I mean? Fight. And then I look at Forest squad. Forest is weird because their squad you look at probably go, can't believe you guys are in this position. You've actually got good players. I look at those teams around Spurs, and this is where you have to look at who's available for Spurs with the whole 11 out and stuff, because that does matter. What they actually have available, I think it's only like really Kudus to come back, really. What they have available, when I look at, like you say, West Ham, when I look at Forest, Leeds, and then I go Wolves and Burnley, I'm like, I think those teams are better than the best Spurs can put out. So Spurs are going to have to find something in that game at home to Forest. Being honest, I think they will. I think they'll get out of it.
You think so?
Just by proxy. I just don't know if. I'm looking at West Ham. I think West Ham are the ones that, because I don't think Forest would drop into there.
So you're saying they're not? It's not that they're too good to go down.
No, they'll just get set exactly. A bit like Man United last year. That's why we did it as well.
Yeah.
Šeško will have a better career than João Pedro. 3, 2, 1. Could have foreseen that one. Kweku, what do you reckon?
He has to fly.
I'm like the guy in the North Bank with that big Arsenal flag, mate.
He has to fly the flag. He has to go with his guy. But if I was to put him on a lie detector test,
No.
if he really believes that
talking
Šeško is
about?
going to have a better career than João Pedro, he
Why?
knows that. We've seen it with João Pedro already, right? And I know there's a conversation, is he a 9? Is he a 10? He's been called a 9.5. This guy can just play football. And whether it's the goals that he scores, whether it's the way that he brings his teammates into play, he's just a top quality footballer. And what's going to kind of determine his success is whether we can find the right position and right players around him. But in terms of just a footballer, there's not really a comparison. I know that people want to talk about the upside of Šeško and the fact that he was chased by Arsenal for years. He's a good striker. He's a good dude. He ain't João Pedro.
That's what João Pedro is. João Pedro's just good as well. I think there's this misconception that João Pedro is a well-beater.
He is.
He's not a well-beater. He's done really... Listen, I actually like him. I've liked him at Watford, really liked him at Brighton. Never have him down as a high-volume scorer. Like you say, this is whether he's a 9, link-up man. He drops deep really well. Really strong. Listen, can lead the line. What I like about João Pedro, he can lead the line. He's neat, he's tidy, he can hold his own. But Benjamin Šeško has the ingredients to be the complete striker for me. And the reason why I say that is, in this period where he's scoring goals now, at higher rate than João Pedro, funnily enough, with way less minutes, by the way, and been injured half the season anyway, is the variation of goals that Šeško has shown me already. You know, I look at the 2 against Burnley, real 9 finishes. I look at the touch and hit against Fulham. I look at something a little bit special, a little bit of stardust, a little bit of a goal that you're not really expected to score. West Ham, round the corner. I still don't know how he's managed to do that. Then I look at a towering header that he scored against Crystal Palace to win the game. I'm seeing sprinkles of a complete. Then I'm looking at listen, Dame Kartowski's not the quickest. However, he clocks like a really high speed. I think it's like 35 kilometres, which is just that speed alone, whether Tarkowski was there or not. That's super fast. He's a physical specimen. He is younger. He is more raw at this precise moment. I think he needs to keep working on mastering how to use that frame, how to use that size. And listen, obviously I'm not going to say he can be as good as Haaland and as this, but I see...
Don't even dare.
Of course not. I wouldn't do that.
Why did you bring
I wouldn't do that. And I'll tell you why. Because physically, in terms of being able to dominate your opposite number, if he gets it right, he has traits of that. And so João Pedro, for me, I like him. He's a link man. I get it. But in terms of the ceiling that I see for Benjamin Šeško, so young as well, it's him all day.
So Šeško has played 1,300 fewer minutes than João Pedro, but he's only scored 3 fewer goals.
Yep.
So why do you think then? What do you think his best strength is if it's not goal scoring?
Well, just on the minutes. Let's understand where Man United really are this season. They are going to play 40 games. They're going to play less games than any other team in English football. They're playing 40 games this season. And so, yeah, Šeško's got a whole week to kind of work on his craft and work on the training ground. Well, João Pedro's playing game after game.
He's new to the league. He's never even played it. Your guy's been in this country for ages, mate.
And done his job at each place he's been. Watford, good. Brighton, good. Chelsea,
yes,
good. He came
good. Just good. I'm glad you said that 3 times over. He's just good.
My man came off the beach. From Brighton, came to Club World Cup, he flew to America.
Yeah, done well.
What, 2 goals in the semi, a goal in the final against the best team in the world in PSG. This is a serious footballer, and he raises his game for the big occasion. Chelsea needs to beat Napoli away from home in the final game of the Champions League. Napoli haven't lost at home since 2024. João Pedro turns up and gives you real quality. And I've not seen your man at that level just yet. He might get there, but if you'll ask me, João Pedro or Šeško, I'm taking João Pedro every day of the week, twice on Sundays.
If you had to compare his career to a player that's retired now, where do you think he can get to?
That's some question. Who, João Pedro?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, and Drogba. Go on. Go on, Diego Costa, go on. Go on. Or is it more like Mutu? Who is it? Kesman. Come on then. He ain't even going to be better than Hasselbank, mate. He ain't better than Hasselbank.
Okay, so at Chelsea, we've had historic flops in the striking position. But I think his kind of traits resemble that of the thread that runs through Hasselbank through to Drogba through to
See?
No, I'm not saying that he's going to become those players.
Yeah.
I can't mention Haaland, but he's allowed to mention Drogba next to João Pedro. You see this? Go on.
But like, just
He knows. Look at him. He's stuck.
I don't know.
He told me I can't mention Haaland. This guy's mentioned Didier Drogba next to bloody João
I'm
Pedro.
not saying he's going to get to those levels, but I'm saying that he's got the ability. He's got the
The ability to do what?
To hold the ball up, to score goals with both feet, to bring people into play, to do everything a striker needs to do. He can do a lot more of the ball than your man can. I know that he's not Drogba, he's not Costa, he's not. He could get to level of Hasselbank, but he's a top striker, and I've seen more evidence from him than I've seen from.
Because he's played in this league for about 100 years. That's
So you
why.
think he's going to be? So you think his career he'll be thought of as good by the end of it, or very good, or great?
Well, this is you asking me to reflect on my football club, because it's like where the Chelsea go.
Yeah.
No,
you
just
don't
in just
You'll
in
probably
the
sell
general,
him in a year
in the
and a half
general
to-
scheme of football.
Yeah, I think great. I think he'll play significant minutes for Brazil in the World Cup. I think
Okay,
he's,
that's a good-
I,
Yeah, that's true.
I think he'll be considered a great player.
Yeah.
A great footballer.
Šeško?
I think he's got all, like I said, I think he's got all the ingredients to reach the very, very top. The difficulty with this question, in fairness to Kweku, is looking at your respective football club, what decisions they make. One thing I do agree with is that Šeško will struggle more in a really bad team than your guy because of the type of footballers they actually are.
Do Carrick and Rosenior have what it takes to build like Arteta? 3, 2, 1.
Can they build like Arteta? It depends on so many factors. I'm just gonna go green. I just fancy being a bit positive today.
Again, Arsenal fans, don't come for me. Very fortuitous circumstances in terms of how Arteta was allowed to build. Because I know that at my club, if you finished 8th and then 5th, you ain't going to be in a job. But lockdown and fans not being in the stadium.
Oh, I think you're being a bit disingenuous here.
Couldn't apply the pressure because we know the fans would have turned.
This is nasty work.
Arsenal fans are booing when they're top of the league right now.
Is that
by the way.
maybe though?
Arsenal fans are booing when they're top of the league. I've heard boos.
Kweku, this is nasty work. This is nasty work.
Top of the league.
I think
He hasn't earned any of this. He hasn't shown any promise. He hasn't.
I think the reason there'd be no excuses for Chelsea though finishing
Yes.
those positions is because of the amount that's been spent.
Okay.
The blue £1 billion bullet jobs, for example.
I understand all of that. I just feel like football is not where it was at maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I don't think that Rosenior will be given time. These owners have shown that they're not going to give managers time. And I think Carrick's a good dude. Whether he's going to be the man to lead Manchester United to glory remains to be seen. I
don't know.
I've got my own theory.
I don't even know if he should be managed on a permanent basis yet.
Yeah,
If I'm honest.
that's exactly it.
I still don't know. I still think it's too early to.
But I think Arteta's the blueprint. Arteta's the reason why these managers will be given an opportunity, because the board look at the way Arsenal have done it. It's like, if we invest and give them time, maybe we'll be able to get to where Arsenal are at, which is not really winning trophies, but they're the kind of blueprint at the moment. But I just don't know if either Man United or Chelsea will give the managers enough time to get to where Arteta's got.
I think this is actually, if we're being completely honest, I think this is more about club structure and decisions rather than the actual individual managers. I really do, because I think historically, like we're saying, look at the decisions Man United have made, like in terms of transfers, recruitments, player wages. You look at the stuff going on with ownership. You look at Ineos coming in, making some bad decisions that have cost us money as well. The incompetency shown there. Last time I was here, I had a lot to say about that, and look at what's happened since. They've stumbled on one in Mikel Carrick. You know, this wasn't the plan to unearth this gem in Mikel Carrick. It just self-combusted with Ruben Amorim, and they thought, well, where do we go? And we went, let's turn to Carrick, and we're on a good run. But on the flip side of that, it depends whether you're pessimistic or optimistic, right? Because I'd like to think that actually, if we do just start recruiting correctly and giving Mikel Carrick the tools that he may need, that he will need, then why can't we compete? Why can't it be that? And when you look at the current landscape of managers, you're right, Kweku. This like guaranteed success of like managers who've been there for a long time, like the Peps, the Klopps, it's a dying breed. The new landscape of managers are these new flourishing managers that are being given time to work and given time to grow. And it's going to be one of them. Do you know what I mean? And Arteta is literally one of that. This is his first job.
Yeah.
We forget that. I know it's like, 7-8 years now, but it's his first job. So, and what Arsenal have done to get them to this point, you say it's fortuitous. You can also say
just the beginning of the journey.
Well, the beginning, yeah, but at the same time, it's not luck when you make a decision to say, no, we believe he will be the guy. Let's fix ourselves. When I look at the Cronkies, Josh Kroenke and these guys that are coming in and Bert is coming in, or even when they had Edu and got it together, Arsenal hit a stop button and said, we have to do things differently.
Yeah.
We need to change our recruitment. We need to be more aggressive. We need to bring in more quality. £105 million Declan Rice. We need to be there for that. Yeah, we've got Ramsdale. I see better. Let's go and get Raya. Ben White's been doing all right. No, let's get Tim. So Zinchenko and Jesus have been brought in because they know how to win for Manchester. No, they're fit. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's an Arsenal situation that wasn't there before. So they've earned their spot of where they've got to by making good decisions at board level. And then they've also changed Mikel Arteta from a head coach to a manager to give him the keys once they looked at the first couple of failings, but they saw something.
So they bought into Arteta.
Yeah.
Do you think Chelsea will ever buy into Rosenior in a similar way?
Absolutely not. He's a yes man.
Well, like, again, Roman Abramovich was criticised for many things, but one of the biggest things was how ruthless he was with managers. In Roman Abramovich's first 4 years as Chelsea manager, he got through 2 managers. This board have got through 5. In their first 4 years, they've got through 5 managers, 5 or 6. They will not stick with him if the results don't continue to go in the direction they expect. And this is a difficulty for Chelsea, right? Because we want to get invested. We want to really say, this is our guy and we're going to get behind you. But what's the point of falling in love if they're just going to leave you after a year? And that's what... With Maresca, we had bought into it. We'd finally come around. It's like this man that was managing the Championship. We weren't too sure about the appointment, but you've bought us. We've been bought into it. You think about winning the Club World Cup. You think about winning the Conference League. You think about finishing in 4th place. But the way they got rid of him was so unceremonious that no, I'm not going to buy into it until I see it. And I just don't know if he'll be given enough time. I think Carrick's probably more likely to be given enough time to become Arteta than a Rosenior, who I think is just... He's on borrowed time. As a Chelsea manager, you're on borrowed time, and that's the most difficult thing. We can't buy into projects because we've never been given an example of a project.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think it has been quite impressive early on, though. He's lost against Arsenal 3 times, but each time it's been a really challenging game for Arsenal. I know what you're saying in terms of other games, Burnley and Leeds and all these sorts of things which cause real problems, but are the signs not there? For fans, maybe the signs are, but isn't...
No. Because I don't want... I have seen managers come in and make instant impacts. Don't forget, when we won the Champions League in 2012, Di Matteo came in and won the Champions League and the FA Cup. When we won it in 2021, Tuchel came in and won the Champions League. I've seen instant impact at a higher level. So I don't want to see just instant impact, which he's kind of got with the results, but lost to Arsenal 3 times. I want to see a style of play that I can buy into, something that has longevity, and I'm yet to see that. I'm not going to be wowed by the bells and the whistles. I want to see real substance, because I've seen bells and whistles before. I've seen us deets our way to a Champions League. I've seen it. I want to see something more consistent. I have not been in the title, me personally. Chelsea have not been in a title race since 2017, the last time we won the title. That's coming up to a decade. Like, we laugh at Arsenal 22 years. We laugh at Man United 13 years. These years roll around very quickly, and Chelsea were known for being the successful team, winning trophies despite chaos in the background. That's not the case anymore.
Chelsea are not serious. I'll be honest. The Chelsea that I know under Roman Abramovich and the recent Chelsea, you don't sack someone like Enzo Maresca and get someone who's already in your sister club in Liam Rosenior and promote him that highly. I'm pleased for him as a guy, as a manager. Kind of want him to do well. He's been given a monumental opportunity. But if Chelsea are serious, like how they're supposed to be being serious, you don't do that. If Chelsea are supposed to do what they're doing, they don't go and spend 50 million on Jamie Gittins. They don't go and spend, what was it, 30 million in the end on Garnacho. Like the squad building and what they're doing. You got Todd Bowley sitting on podcast saying, "Mate, I only wanted Cucurella because Man City wanted him. I didn't even know what I was doing." Like, this is Chelsea Football Club. Look at the money they've spent. Look at the gaps in the squad. They're showing that it's all about young promise and flipping players. Like crypto, they're not a serious establishment anymore.
100%, and to pile on that is when every single football fan, whether they're Chelsea fan or not, know exactly what you need to do in the summer to make your team better, but you don't do it. Exactly. You know something's going wrong. Everyone said Chelsea need a new goalkeeper, didn't do it. Chelsea need a new centre back, didn't do it. And bear in mind, Donnarumma went to Man City on a free. Mark Guehi who's from Chelsea's academy, by the way, went on a discounted price to Man City. If we're a serious club, we make those signings and we challenge for the title. I've seen it with Arsenal. Arsenal went in 21-22 from finishing 5th to finishing 2nd and being on 50 points after 19 games within a season. Man United are going to finish 3rd. If there was 10 more games this season, Man United would be in a title race. Football, this project word or this, it does exist to an extent, but football can change very quickly. If Chelsea to act like a serious football club and bring in the signings that we're supposed to bring in, we could be challenging.
Financially, you can still do it. We're talking about them spending £2 billion, but look what they've spent it on.
Yeah,
look at the big contracts. Look at the continual like merry-go-round or carousel of players that are just coming in to come out. Garnacho's. I keep going back to him, sorry, because of the United thing, but he'll be gone in as soon as he went there, he'll be gone in 18 months, probably play for Betis or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's going to happen. Same with Jamie Gittins, he'll probably go and play for Hoffenheim or something.
What about United? Where do you see United going under Carrick?
I'm still deliberating as to whether he should get the job. It's still early. He's doing all the right things. I'll hold my hands up. Before he had the first game against City, I was like, listen, I'm going to get behind Carrick because he's helping us out in a tough run, but I don't care if he wins 17 games in a row, he can't get the job. I actually said that. And I think what I've learned since then was that was premature and that the answer could be him. And also, when I look at the other options that are available, I really wanted Thomas Tuchel. Of course, I would take Enrique. He's an elite level coach, and I was going down that route, Nagelsmann and Enrique, etc. But then you have to then I have to check myself and go, my club is run by Ineos. I have to, as much as that annoys me, I have to think about what does that look like when said character comes into that building, wants control, or wants to do certain things, and Ineos don't play ball. Unai Emery, same thing. Like, these are good coaches, but under that structure, it might be better to give it to Carrick if he proves why. He's in situ now. He's bringing an element of calmness. I don't think he's done anything revolutionary. I've been saying to Kweku, like, he's playing 4-4-2 off the ball and put Kobbie Mainoo back in the team and have two wingers and two strike. Like, it's not.
It feels quite straightforward.
It's quite straightforward. It just shows how bad Amorim was, making us fans think that we have to suffer to have anything that resembles a decent football team. So, if they recruit right, this is how I know it's all about recruitment, right? Look at Man United when Ruben Amorim left. He left us when he was in 6th place, and we were laboured, still not great, but we were 6th, a couple of points off top 4. And just by having a top window, 4 hits. Benjamin Šeško, Brian Mbeumo, been good, very good. Mateus Cunha doing his bit. Senny Laman's most monumental upgrade, even more than Karius to Alisson, I'm saying. Onana's worse than Karius. I'm not having it. He's the worst keeper I've ever seen. And now Senny Laman's is just incredible, right? So just by buying 4 good, strong starting players, even Ruben Amorim was able to go from 15th to 6th and look all right. And now the Carrick's got a few. So if you go and make sure you get Elliot Anderson, make sure you get another centre-back, a proper right-back, or this, that, and the third, then you can give Carrick the tools to really kick on.
The only hesitation I think Man United fans have got, and they're right to have it, is we've seen it before with Oli. Exactly. That's a different situation because you mentioned Arteta before in the previous conversation. Arteta, his first job in management is the Arsenal job, right? He didn't get penalised for going down to the Championship and failing down there and then coming to the Premier League. And I don't even think Carrick failed. In his second season, he finished 10th for Middlesbrough. Exactly. But because he went down and he's not this glossy toy anymore, say this was Carrick's first job, like, well, of course he's got to get the job. He's just like, he's a Man United legend. He's got almost a perfect record as a manager. He'd definitely get the job. But because the Oli things happened and...
That's why I was scarred. I was like, don't do it again. You gave it to a legend again, don't do it again. But it's actually disingenuous, Carrick.
Yeah, this is different. Carrick was very highly touted when he was at Borough. Top teams were looking at him, and granted he didn't get them promoted, but I feel like you shouldn't be penalised for going down to the Championship 100%. And not getting promoted. So I quite like Carrick, and do you know when you just see it and it fits and it works,
and until it doesn't fit, you can't be a sacking club. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. If Carrick doesn't do well within 18 months, and you can see, we got this wrong.
So you'd give him that then? You would give him the full-time job?
I still need to see a bit more, but it's leading that way. It's leading that way for sure.
Look, Flex and Kweku have had their say. You guys can have your say in the comments below. If you like boxing, check out The Hook on Mail Sport Boxing with Charlotte Daly. We'll be back next week.